This old smoke-filled bar is something I'm not...
Ralph Mooney was by all accounts the original steel guitarist for Merle Haggard's band The Strangers, and it's Mooney's signature style that probably most associates Merle's early recordings with the Bakersfield sound. We're still in the development era of the pedal steel guitar here, and Mooney has that harder, sort of almost rockabilly edge to his playing that really captures the drinking, fist fighting, and romancing that characterize the culture of country songs written at that time, as well as the club scene in which they were playing. Merle and Mooney meet while playing in Win Stewart's band together, and that's how Ralph Mooney becomes Merle Haggard's first steel guitarist. But for all of the genius of this pairing, Mooney's departure from Merle Haggard is also quite legendary, involving a snowstorm and a bus that simply wouldn't start. So I hope you'll stick around to hear the full, unabridged story of Merle Haggard, the Ralph Mooney years. There is no footage of Merle and Ralph Mooney performing together, sadly. That first video clip that started the video, in that clip you're actually seeing and hearing Norm Hamlet in around 1968, probably within the first 6 months of joining Merle's band. And he's doing a pretty good Ralph Mooney impersonation, playing the licks from the Mooney recordings and playing them on a Fender 2000 guitar. And that's about as close of a simulation as we're going to get on film regarding this topic. There's 2 songs recorded on that show. They do Swinging Doors and The Bottle Let Me Down. As I said, Norm doing a stellar impression of Ralph Mooney here. There's also a video of Merle playing the Buck Owens Ranch show around the same time, and those clips have producer Fuzzy Owen playing the steel. Also playing on a Fender pedal guitar, but playing his own variation of the West Coast style. I've actually found one photo of Ralph Mooney and Merle Haggard on stage together. This photo has Merle Haggard playing bass guitar, standing at the microphone, definitely Ralph Mooney on the steel, Roy Nichols playing a double neck electric guitar, and a team of women, possibly dancers or fan club members, something like that. This photo must be of Win Stewart's band, probably somewhere between 1962 and 1964. So what we're really dealing with here are these albums, first 5 records that Merle put out, starting in 1965 with the Merle Haggard debut, Strangers. Unfortunately, kind of a late Nashville sound kind of production here. A lot of strings on this record. Not that much steel guitar at all, in fact. However, the breakout track with Ralph Mooney is going to be track 5. It's called A Sad Song. The Worst Is Yet to Come, a really great song. You can hear Mooney soloing for the first time with Haggard, and it's really nice stuff. Swinging Doors and The Bottle Let Me Down, 1966. These are all on Capitol Records. You got Glenn Campbell hanging around the studio at this time. This album's kicking things off with Mooney right out of the gate. Swinging Doors. Another masterful Haggard-Mooney performance and 2 epic songs. So Mooney is all over this album with his sort of slip note pedal work. This next album is a duet album, Bonnie Owens, Merle Haggard, just between the 2 of us, 1966. Mooney is soloing from the very first track here and soloing on most of the tracks. So here's a sample of what it sounds like. I'm a Lonesome Fugitive, 1967. Songs like Life in Prison, Drink Up and Be Somebody Again. It's a really great Ralph Mooney performance. I've actually got a copy of this album here. It's not that hard to find, actually. This is an original 1967 US pressing, and I paid about $5 for this earlier this year, so you can absolutely find this album. This is also going to feature more pedal steel guitar than any of the other albums that I'm showing you here, so this might be the album for you to check out. And their last album together, Branded Man, released just a few months later than the last one, with possibly the exact same session lineup. The standout tracks here for Mooney are going to be Gone Crazy and I Threw Away the Rose, which is a really nice ballad. There's also these two Bonnie Owens albums. There's some debate over who is actually performing the steel on these records. It could be a combination of the players you see here. I also have a copy of this one here, the first one, Don't Take Advantage of Me. This is the later pressing that came out on Spartan. But let me play a clip for you now to show you what this sounds like. You tell me, does this sound like Ralph Mooney? This era of steel is so different from modern pedal steel, right? A slightly more primitive version of the standard pedal guitar, and you had these 8-string Fender guitars with pedals, you had the early Bigsby pedal guitars, and early Showbuds. And if I understand correctly, Ralph Mooney may have been playing without the chromatic strings that are at the top of the E9th tuning. So he's sort of playing an E9th tuning with a G sharp on top. I think it might be an 8-string that he's playing, actually. Every player from this era had their own sound and style that was completely unique to them. Country music from this period, the country music that does have steel on it, is really some of the best stuff that was ever done in the genre. And I've got a series of videos here on his channel called Stars of Steel if you're interested in more content on that topic. So how does this story end? Well, I first heard this story told on the Cocaine and Rhinestones episode on Ralph Mooney, which you might check out if you have a couple hours to spare. They're touring up in Minneapolis. There's a real bad snowstorm that hits. It's so cold, in fact, that the bus won't start, and there's so much snow that they wouldn't be able to drive anywhere, even if they could get the bus going. Well, apparently Ralph Mooney gets cabin fever at the hotel. He's in a pretty sour mood and decides he's going to get that bus started and drive himself back home. He does manage to get the bus started, but the bus driver and the rest of the band step in and stop him from getting away, basically. I guess they did finish the tour together, but Ralph Mooney was let go immediately after that, and that's when Fuzzy Owen, who was also Merle's manager, came in to take Ralph's place, and Merle decided that Fuzzy couldn't be the manager and the steel player, so Norm Hamlet was brought in, and I think you might agree from the clip we saw, he did a pretty nice job filling the shoes of Ralph Mooney. September of 1967 looks like the first time that Norm is credited as playing on a Merle Haggard recording session. Ralph Mooney went on to make a highly recommended album of instrumentals with James Burton called Corn Pickin' and Slick Slidin', I think is the name of that. It came out in '68, also on Capitol Records, and he's going to tour on and off again with Wynn Stewart for a little while, and in the 1970s, of course, he goes on to play with Waylon Jennings for 20 years. You can see the whole story about that in a video that I made here on this channel. Fuzzy Owen and Norm Hamlet stuck by Merle's side for the full duration of his career going forward. Let me know what you think of Merle Haggard, the Ralph Mooney years. And see you again next time for another video on classic country music, steel guitars. Take care, keep it country, and we'll see you again next time.